Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended, and I wanted to show you a really neat trick that you can use specifically on the center to get some insane loot in an absolute ridiculous number of blueprints, and it's a really easy thing to do. So I'm going to go ahead and show you step by step what you need to know, and it's really three basic things that only actually get activated by the center super easily. And let's go ahead and get started with that. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fish our way to victory when it comes to blueprints. And the three things you need to know about fishing is, one, you need to be able to know where to get your fishing rods, which happens awesome, really easily on the center. And then the second thing is where you should fish. And then the third thing is how to actually successfully fish. So first things first, how do you get a good blueprint for a fishing rod? And it's pretty simple. The maximum ability that you can get in order to get a bunch of really neat stuff like this, you can get a bunch of random loots. That was just a couple of fish that I was able to use. You can get black pearls, you can get all kinds of stuff. You just need a few basic things. Now that right there obviously is some pretty good loot, but what we're going to do in order to get a good fishing rod, you need to find yourself, so this is an effectiveness of 500. That is the maximum effectiveness that you can roll, and in order to do that you need to kill alpha mosas or alpha tusos. Now, conveniently, on the center, if you go to the right side on what's called the 90 line, if you go in this section right here and just do circles around this, consistently alpha mosas and alpha tusos spawn on a ridiculously regular basis. Now, I'll show you what I mean by that just by looking at if there's any available right now. So there's an alpha mosa, and conveniently, guess where it is? Right in that little area that I told you it was. Let's look. Oh, alpha tuso. One, yep, and it's right over there. So this section is actually under the ocean. It's not right up against land. So anyways, this 90 line right here, you just do circles around this and you can come back with so many fishing rods, because the tusos that are alpha version and the mosas that are alpha version, there usually is one at the map at all times. So if you just run circles with a good tame, now some people are like, oh, I'm not going to be able to get good tames. If you run with a pack of sharks will obliterate a alpha tuso or smoke an alpha mosa. Now, that is an awesome thing that you can do because sharks get the bonus multiplier, or if you have access to a mosa or tuso yourself, alphas usually get shredded because, yes, they have a ton of health, but they don't do too much damage. They will hurt, but they don't do too much damage. A pack of sharks will absolutely obliterate them because they get the multiplier bonus. So now that we know how to get the fishing rods, you get them randomly dropped by killing those two things. And because there is a decent level, 145, you're going to get a better chance of getting a really good fishing rod. If you get an ascendant one, immediately start fishing. Immediately. Now, the next thing you need to know is where to fish. Now, there are two good fishing spots in my opinion. If you go to the lava island, these 4 lakes tend to have a ton of coal inside of them. And then if you go to the south, where Redwoods is, you can find these that have a ton of coal inside of them in the pools as well. So that is the best place to go about doing it. Saber-tooth salmon can be the best, but they're hard to find on the center. Now, obviously, I'm going to go and show you what I mean by that. There are a ton of coal in this specific spot. It's all based on how long that server's been open, because the longer the server's been open, the more coal that'll spawn in, and that's just how it works. So if you sit in a wooden chair, we're going to go ahead and break out the fishing rod. Now, the multiplier for fishing on the center, good fishing rod, obviously, because you have a ton of opportunity for alphas, good spots to fish. So our first two things are completed. Now, the last thing we need to work on is the actual loot quality. Now, when you are fishing inside of this game, there's going to be a mini game you play, and as long as you complete the mini game, you can reel in the fish. Now, you see right there, the two numbers on the top of your screen I want you to focus on are the size of the fish and the quality. The bigger the fish you catch, the more quality you get. Higher the quality, the better loot you get. You're going to see on the bottom, I'm just going to reel in 5 fish, right? So there's 3. Obviously, I have it turned, the mini game is turned off for me right now, by the way. So that's why I'm actually able to reel them in. There's nothing special other than the fact that the mini game is just turned off. I've got it turned off in my settings. So we're going to go ahead and reel this last one in right now. And notice how the 3 numbers that I was talking about earlier, the 2 on the top of your screen, fish size and then quality. What happens is there's a calculation that gets randomly done. The size of the fish, which in this case was a 0.6, gets multiplied by the effectiveness of the rod, which gets multiplied by the effectiveness of the bait. So honey is the best bait. The better rods are obviously the best, and the bigger fish are obviously better. And when you multiply those together, the higher numbers you get, the stupider the loot you get. Now, the really cool thing is there is nothing that doesn't fall inside the loot table of fishing. Now, there are things you tend to get more often, but I've gotten anything from Rex saddles from fishing to Giganotosaurus saddles to flak BPs to riot BPs. You can get anything. You name it, it is a gettable thing. Saddles, you can see there's a platform saddle. I don't know what for, but a 2.2 just gave me a crazy scheme for that. And the higher quality that you can get, the better loot you're going to get. Now, obviously, I am on a solo player game right now, but the best time to do this, because the thing that you need to know are, I guess, two major things. One, inside of Ark, there are two loot qualities. There is drop loot quality and there is fishing loot quality. Those are two different settings. So if your drop loot quality is up and loot quality is up across the board, that means your fishing loot quality is up across the board. So on weekends, hint, 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 when they've got like 3x or 4x, you are going to get 3 or 4 times the loot you would get during the week, which means that quality number on the far right side is going to go up, which means that if you fish on weekends inside of Ark, you are going to get better loot overall, better everything. So if you can find when there's an increased loot multiplier, you're going to get some crazy BPs. Absolutely bonkers. So I've got stuff that's well above cap in something like this, and or at least approaching cap. And just in general, it's probably one of the best ways to get yourselves a ton of loot. Now, obviously, you're going to have to play the actual mini games, and that does suck. And honey typically takes, I think it's 35 seconds per honey you throw in the water for the fish to be able to bite. The minimum time is 35 seconds, maximum time is 45 seconds. But I have it turned like a little bit modified so I can actually just reel things in to show you for this video. I don't know why anything doesn't want to bite that, because that looks, there we go. Well, that was a tiny one. All right, anyways, so let's go ahead and look at what we've got. So the thing that I also like, this is a great way to get a hold of black pearls, rare flowers, sap, which I don't like gathering. I don't know why I hate gathering sap, but I really do. You can get angler gel, and then you can get some absolutely bananas loot. It's a 434 pike right there. There's a really good Procothodon saddle for boss fights. An insane riot chest piece. Oh my God, 1100 Dura. That's nuts. You can see that there's good gas mask. Now, some of these things are going to be expensive, but most aren't too bad. Obviously, you can see there's a 230, 248. It's an expensive one, but it's doable. 367 compound bow. 144 donkey saddle, 284 kestrel. That's wild. Okay, that's stupid game. 315 fabricated sniper rifle, some fur, long neck rifles. That's almost server cap right there. Server cap is 755 technically. So you can get some really good loot. I hope you understand that point that I'm trying to make right now. Now, obviously, the things that are turned on for me, because some people would be like, oh, you don't understand official. You've never played on official, blah, blah. Yes, I have. Don't want to go back through that grind. Did that, been there, done it. Don't like it. But for most of us Ark players who play single player or on unofficial servers, this is a fantastic thing to do. I love playing the PvE version of Ark and fishing. It's just fun for me. I don't know why. So there's a woolly rhino saddle I think I just got. One of my favorite creatures inside of Ark, actually. And did I really just not throw that very well? Cool. Thank you, game. Let's go ahead and toss out another poll here. But you can see that this is a great way to do it. Now, obviously, you're going to spend a lot more time than I'm spending due to the fact that when I am fishing right now, I have the timer turned off, and I've also got the actual waiting timer turned off. That's going to help me a lot get quicker fish. But the general things you need to know: better fishing rod, better overall bait, bigger fish, and wait for loot multiplier weekends, because getting increased loot multiplier is going to mean you get better overall quality, because it's all of that is rolled together. And once it gets rolled together, you just get RNG. And then once that happens, you've got a good chance of getting some crazy powerful loot. So utilize this strategy. Now, if you're playing on single player, the mod that I'm using is Advanced Fishing. It's a fantastic mod. Love the mod because it lets me go out and fish and actually have fun in the game instead of spending 3 hours. But I also like fishing a little bit, so sometimes I turn it off, but you know, it is what it is. So hopefully this video helps you out, and obviously you can see that it's definitely worth your time to at least give it a shot to try some fishing. I know some crazy stories. People have gotten well above cap for a lot of blueprints. And you can see I haven't been here all that long and I've reeled in some nuts stuff. Nuts. So hopefully this video helps you out. And yeah, definitely take advantage of fishing inside of Ark and use those 3 things, because the center has a never-ending supply of alpha bosas and alpha tusos. So get those while you can. Hopefully this video helps you out. And if you don't mind, smack that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. All right, teach.